constitutionally sound, yes or no? Where you have a law passed in the government by the parliament of this country, which affords 1 out of every 4 citizens to participate in what they call local government elections. And they told you that government is better with those who are nearest to it, where people live in these various communities and such has happened. I've been there for more than 25 years. What has happened? That is why it is so important to him as you look at the pieces of legislation that have been passed, because hardly anything ever comes to you before they set it in the House of Assembly, say they're going to debate it. Perhaps they pick certain people who they want to give an idea of what it is they're going to do. But most of you don't know anything till they done put it in the House, say they done passed it, go on to the Senate, give it to the Governor General, and the Governor General just signs it, and it becomes law. Damage, you see why that kind of system causes all kind of problems? I'm looking at the Electricity Act passed in 2024. I'm going to go that with a fine-tooth comb on the air, you know, and show the inconsistencies in the act, which was passed by the Parliament of the Bahamas. Let me make sure I get it right now. But the government is complicit. They're telling you things what they would say they're supposed to do, passed in the law, and don't do it. I see all kind of people around here talking about they won't provide electricity. Must be about 7, 8 of them right here on the Providence and some in the Family Islands. Where's the consultation? And those of you who have certain disagreements and say, no, you know, that piece right there, I don't like that too much. Let's have a discussion on it. People, and we will scrutinize it in accordance with the Constitution of this country, which you ought to be looking at everything in this country according to the Constitution. You don't do that. You listen to all this crap talk. And people say they have in feast in Grand Bahama, dancing and eating and drinking. How much money is in the bank for the property? Nobody seems to know. Didn't the man say he wasn't going to open his mouth until the money was in the bank? Now, whose bank is in? Is it his personal bank? Is it the Bank of the Bahamas? Is it them other people's bank? Who has the money? Because I heard this Minister of Tourism say himself further details in the days and weeks ahead. What kind of nonsense is that? That's what the man tells the people. I got my producer saying, let him play that tape again. If the deal has been signed and it's a good thing, and the people rejoicing and rejoicing, saying how good it is, do they know what it says? I only have what the man say or some other people say that is what is in it. I haven't seen it myself. So I don't know who's telling me the truth. Give me the whole thing. Like we got the Electricity Act 2024. That's what it is. We could sit down, we could study that, we could analyze it, and we could show you the crap that they put in it and expose it through the Constitution. That's the way you do things, Bahamian. I won't talk about the Carbon Credits Act. That's another one. And they did that the time when you're about having Junkanoo. Y'all think more of Junkanoo than you think about national interest in this country? How could Junkanoo be so important? Bragging rights for what? To do what? to remain economically poor? Is that what it's all about, Bahamians? We have a rich cultural heritage, but we're not utilizing it wisely because it has become politically polarized. And the people involved themselves, one on this side, one on that side, one over on the other side. And so people look at things through their political parties. The Constitution doesn't say political parties run the country, you know. It's the personalities you send, who you elect. And unfortunately, you've made some very bad decisions, Bahamians, over the last 52 years. Very bad. We're paying the price for that today. Someone was complaining to me last night and today, all these strangers and foreigners and aliens and outsiders walking up and down in this country can't speak a lick of English. But they're here in big numbers. What the heck are you going to do about it? And you sit right there. When I told you from last year, July the 8th, you think I forgot it? I don't forget nothing. I have already done my homework on that. I'm changing that one iota. I challenge you. You got an alternative, bring it forth then. Because all I've been hearing is one set of talk from this one, that one, the next one, this one rowing over this one rowing over that, to the point where this fella ain't got no job. He have some other people taking care of him. He can't run no country. Who's paying him? All this cheapskate talk while the country is burning on national issues. And we have yet to see any major national issues solved. And when I ask that question, not a living one of you could tell me what major national issues have been solved. You start running on about the problems. You didn't say, Professor, this major national problem has been solved. And here are the benefits that come to us as a result of it being solved. Not a living one of you could answer it. And I've been asking you that from last July the 8th and even before then. And every time the subject is raised, you go quiet. What you going quiet for? For what? And can't see how you're being dug deeper and deeper into a hole, which eventually will swallow you up. You've forgotten. Name is we in serious trouble, you know. Very serious trouble as I talk to you today. This May 22nd, I think it is. And Bahamians, we cannot continue in the way we're going, the way how this country is being run, the way how our leaders are thinking, if they are ever thinking. And yet you have not organized yourselves, as Article 24.1 tells you to do. To do what? To protect your interests. And the word interest is plural. And Article 2 tells you any law that is inconsistent with this Constitution shall prevail. And Article 52.1 tells you what Parliament is supposed to be doing to make laws. And it gives you 3 specific reasons: for the peace, order, good government of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. Do you see those 3 ingredients in any law that you see back? They got these 2 land pieces that they're going to introduce to the House. I just asked a friend of mine whether he saw any proposed information on it. I haven't seen any. But they say they're going to introduce it in the House. And they're going to discuss it. You don't know what's in it, Bahamians. You don't know what is proposed to be presented. So you got to wait until the man throw it on the table. Some people ought to know, right? Some people ought to know. The Bahamian people ought to know. What is it the government is proposing about land? I heard on the radio today, this matter is more than 100 years old when it comes to land. You see how negligent the government of the Bahamas and the Parliament of the Bahamas has been? More than 100 years. We're dealing with old-time legislation, which need to be updated. And now these fellas, just in the mouth of a general election, you see them bringing up all kinds of things. Not because they pass a law means they're going to fulfill it. All you do is look at the Electricity Act, okay? 2024. And you look at the Carbon Credits Act and see how that is set up. And there are some others too. You're talking about recent legislation. We could go all the way back to 1973. The Nationality Act, which they call Nationality Act, which is not even an act. And they've been using it, which is not constitutionally sound, for some 52 years, Bahamians. And it hasn't been corrected by any attorney general to tell them fellas, stop your foolishness, stop your nonsense, let's get it right. But yet, you hear people talk about certain personalities who have done this, have done that, and the question I always ask, what major national problems have been solved in this country? For the benefit of blaming people, what major constituency problems have been solved for that particular constituency in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas? Yet we see them all run down. Then you got some who talking about transition. They've been knocking around for more than 50 years. One particular party, 71 years next year, the other one more than 52 years. And you ask yourself, what have they achieved in terms of building this nation, the Commonwealth of the Bahamas? How constitutionally sound have they been in and out of government? I mean, how much more time you want to waste, Bahamians? You won't waste another 52 years? I think my producer is telling me we have a caller. Is that right, Mr. Producer? Caller, you live on here. Go ahead, please.
Hello, Professor.
Hey, how are you?
I am good. That is why it is so important that we have that Freedom of Information Act put into force. You know,
Okay.
I think you said that case is going to go to court next
Next
month.
month. That's right, yes.
Okay, this is what I think is going to happen. That thing is going to go to court, and they're going to hold that up until the next general election.
Until God knocks him down. Hold on, caller.
Right?
Hold on, stop right there. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't express your view. But see, in this fight, you have to have God in the fight. So anyone who tries to block it, all God has to do is move them out of the way. Just as simple as that. No, but see, listen, man, because see, I am not knocking you for thinking the way you're thinking because others have said the same thing to me. But I ask the question, where is God in our national affairs? We're praying about this, you know.
Yeah.
We're not using our just human skill and knowledge and understanding. That's not enough. We need God to move some of them out of the way and put them where they belong. And you will see him do that.
I totally agree with you, Professor. But, you know, a lot of them don't have God in them, you know. But
No,
like I said, I think they're going to try and hold it up. And if they win the general election, they're going to take this thing to a referendum. And they're going to use those same people that they have falsely given citizenship to help them get that thing over.
Yes, ma'am.
And I call for the Minister of Foreign Affairs to tell the people how many visas have been issued since they've been in power.
How many citizenship certificates have been issued over the last 52 years.
And visas that have been issued to Haitian nationals. So everywhere you turn in on this island, all you can hear is Creole.
Yes, I've heard it too. Even in my own even in my own areas, people are complaining about how Haitian males are hanging around in the streets, begging for money, looking at properties, eyeing people's properties. We understand there's a particular situation with a particular lady who went away for a period of time, and they have now taken over the woman's house.
Yes, yes. I mean, and to the point that the U.S. Embassy now has on their website that we speak Creole.
Yes, ma'am.
I mean, it's sickening. But I wish you all the best, Professor, and I will continue to listen to your show and support you.
Well, I appreciate your comments because Bahamians, there are some specific things we have to do to save the country. Do not wait on the government of the Bahamas to do it because it ain't going to happen. I can tell you that right off the top. You need God's divine intervention to save the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. No matter what they may say, no matter what they may do. We have 52 years of experience to show, Bahamians. Those who were given the authority to run this place, the record is there for you to see it for yourself. That information, what we could get, what we could verify, what we know to be accurate and precise, that's what we're working with. That's why we got the Constitution. I don't give a heck what those other people say. The Constitution is supreme. Anything that they do that is not constitutionally sound is not lawful, it is not legal, it is not right, it is not good for the Bahamian people. I think too many times we concentrate too much on what evil people are doing. We do not concentrate on what it is we can do to save the place, Bahamians. While I'm not saying you shouldn't be concerned about certain things around you, but don't let it be a distraction. There are some people out there who all they want to do is distract you. A particular caller made a comment yesterday which I was very displeased with, but couldn't verify the source. And I asked, can you verify who the source is? Told me I need to go check it out. You brought the information up. If I had brought it up, I'd be able to tell him what the source is. But he was not able to do that. See, everything you read or see on the internet or Facebook or YouTube or whatever, it doesn't have to be right, Bahamians. People are going to say all kind of crappy things at this particular time. And even though some people are doing things that are not constitutionally sound, there's a way to deal with them and get rid of them once and for all. You don't have to tell no lies on them. Their own wickedness will destroy them. God always has a way of dealing with wicked, corrupt, evil people. Always. And sometimes he does some very unusual things. And you say, what? That's how it went down? I'm not going to be surprised of some unusual activity going on in this country. But we have to look to God, and we don't have God in our knowledge. That is a major weakness in Bahamian national issues and constituency issues. We don't say nothing about God. Our leaders don't even talk about God. God is not in their thoughts. God is not in their ways. God is not in their knowledge. Let's listen to the speeches then if you don't believe me. Go listen to them for yourself. Listen to what they say. Watch what they do, Bahamians. And then line it up with the Constitution. See if it is constitutionally sound. If it isn't constitutionally sound, then you know what to do. Article 52.1, like I said earlier, says what Parliament ought to be doing, some basic fundamental principles for the Parliament. If the Parliament ain't going by that, it's unconstitutional. It is not legally sound, Bahamians. But too many times we get carried away with the crap that certain personalities spew from their mouth, from their body language, from their behavior. And we get all carried away with it. And we forget the Constitution says to protect your interests. You don't forget that. You're looking at the foolishness what they're doing and say, you know something, I need to protect our interests. The constituents in a given constituency ought to protect their interests. It's in their interest to do so. How long is it going to take them to do that? How long is it going to take them to get that through their skull and understand how important that is? Or they going to wait till they can't think no more? It'll be too late then. You don't want to be in that kind of state. So I can appreciate what the lady is saying. I don't have anything against her views. She has the right to express her view. But Bahamians, what I am concerned about as a talk show host is what are we going to do to save the Commonwealth of the Bahamas? Because it's in deep trouble, very deep trouble. I know it, Bahamians. I've proven it. I have hardcore evidence to prove that the country called the Commonwealth of the Bahamas is in deep trouble. We're not lost yet. We could repent of our wicked ways and ask God to have mercy on us, and He will forgive us and give us a fresh, clean start. But are we willing to admit when we're wrong? Because the hardest thing for a human being to do, I can tell you from 52 years of conversion, hardest thing for a human being to do is to admit when he or she is in error and change and say, yes, I was wrong. Oh, no, they'll beat around the bush. Oh, we never did nothing wrong. And they lie and lie and lie, breaking the ninth commandment, you shall not bear false witness. That's people, that's carnal nature. And all of us have that carnal nature. We got to fight it every day. I had the music in the background. I mean, my producer's telling me to shut up. I have my guest right here, Brother Cartwright. I tell him I'll talk till Christ come back. I keep telling that all the time. He needs to interrupt me. This is Professor Sidney Thompson on the Global Radio Network 99.5 FM. The lines are open 326-0271, 326-0272, 813-0271. This is Professor Sidney MacArthur Walter Thompson on the Global Radio Network 99.5 FM. Let's save the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, Bahamians. Let's start doing it now. With God's help, we will save this country. This is Professor Sidney MacArthur Walter Thompson on the Global Radio Network 99.5 FM. We'll be back after the break. means people are asking some very good questions. I have no problems with questions that people ask, but there are some people who seem not willing to answer questions. If you explain to us what you're talking about, then we can have the information, like we got the Electricity Act 2024, give us the whole thing. So we could sit back, read it, study it, analyze it constitutionally, and say what the crap is in it. You got crap right there in the article 2024, which was passed last year. Hey, but y'all got to read these things, man. Not just read them, but study them and know what you're dealing with, Bahamians. Caller, you live on air. Go ahead, please. Oh, okay, all right. Let me introduce Brother Cartwright. Brother Cartwright, welcome to Global Radio 99.5 FM.
Well, good afternoon, Professor. Good afternoon to the Global 99.5 FM audience. And on Cartwright. But in New Providence, these are the names that has been put out there that will be running in the upcoming election. In Kalani, Dr. Dwayne Sands. In Clifton, Mr. Lincoln Deal. Golden Isles is Mr. Brian Brown. Southern Shores, Ms. Donnelly Penn Mackey. In Carmichael is Ms. Rentia Komalafi. In Golden Gates, is Mr. Michael Folks. South Beach, Michael Barnett. In Pinewood, Gadville McDonald. In Nassau Village, you have Mr. Ivan Thompson. In St. Breeze, you have Ms. Miriam Emmanuel. Elizabeth Estate, you got Mr. Ellsworth Johnson, Yamacraw, Ms. Ramona Farquharson in Fox Hill. Nicholas Fox, Marathon, Dr. Jacqueline Penn Knowles, Freetown, Ms. Heather Hunt, Garden Hills, Ms. Maxine Seymour, in Angliston, Heather McDonald, Bain and Grandstand, J. Philippe. And in Centerville, you have Trevino Hall Clark. In Fort Charlotte, you have Mr. Travis Robinson, Tall Pines, Mr. Seafront Roll. Montmoriah, you have Mr. Marvin Deems. And Bamboo Town, you have Redwood Wells. Now, in the Family Islands, I don't think they have all the list, but these are the names that they're proposing might be their candidates. In Exuma, Mr. Reno Curling. North and Central Abaco will be Mr. Gary Smith. In South Abaco will be Ms. Boodle. And in North Andros, D'Angelo Ferguson. In Long Island, the proposing Ms. Andre Rollins. In North Eleuthera, Mr. Ricky Mackey. In South and Central Eleuthera, Mr. Cassius Stewart. And Michael, Mr. David Daxon Sr. Now, they're also proposing some shuffling in the Senate. So these are the names that most likely will be moving forward, will be the senators sitting in the Senate for the FNM. Mr. Darren Cooper, Ms. Orentia Komalafi, Dr. Jacqueline Penn Knowles, and Gadville McDonald. And if you listen to the list, you would see that some of the candidates who are being proposed ran in the last election. Some are new, but you have some of the former candidates for certain areas will be returning back into the forefront. So this is what the FNM proposed. I don't think it's a full slate, but this is from what I saw via the news, basically online. And so two of the reputable media had put this out. So I was like, let me look at it and read it and then bring it forward to you guys and let you go from there. But I don't know if we had a caller.
We do have a caller? I
Yes.
think my producer is saying we do. Okay.
Go ahead, caller.
Get to the caller. Caller, you're live on air.
Good afternoon, Professor.
Yes,
good
sir.
afternoon to your guests and good afternoon, Bahamas.
Yeah.
My family, when I hang around here, who's sending, which one, who, and for Kalani? Who, I didn't hear the person.
Yes, the Kalani's FNM proposed candidate is Dr. Dwayne Sands, the chairman of the FNM.
That's a hot seat. That's what I was saying. That's a big one. We can talk about that some other time.
Yes, sir.
That's a mean one right there. Boy, you're going up against your boss. What do the book say? What 48 laws of thing up? Okay, I borrow that. I borrow that. My boy from who's going to court? He there?
Yeah, I'm right here. It's me now
Okay.
who read the list.
Okay, that's you read the list. Okay,
Yes.
I wonder how much of them know the Constitution, because I can show you. I deal with scripture today, but I can put this out there first. I wonder how much of them the parliaments you read know the Constitution, because listen here, professor teachers put things to bed. When the article, the Constitution, page 15, where the article 7 and 1 is, you put your hand on your heart and you take the legion. There's no flag should be in the Bahamas. I wonder how much of these people in Parliament know the Constitution. Right there on page 15, and everybody know it because this is say where the 16 where you can beat thing up. They say you put your hand on your chest and you pray to legion. What kind of legion you pray? Listen, policeman, officer, everybody. There's no flag in the Bahamas if you run the country right. Now I get into my scripture. I can leave that there. Ask when you go there. Then you go there, just ask them, how much of you all know the Constitution of the Bahamas? Because listen, my brother, that clear, I ain't put that there. I need that there. That right on page 15 where you see that the 7 and that 1. Agree, I go down a little bit with say, pay the legion. You can't be putting no flag nowhere in our country. You can't be talking about no other country and the thing up. But I'm going to go to my scripture. I can leave that right there. My brother,
Yes.
I want you to ask all them politicians you meet, do you know the Constitution of the Bahamas? And see how much them could answer that. Now let me go to the scripture. Proverbs chapter 6 and verse 16. God said, listen, 7 of them I hate, but the 6 of them I hate, but the 7th one is abomination. And we had one other things was going around, but on church going around here. I got another scripture for that. I got 1 Samuel chapter 2 and verse 27. My brother, you all have a blessed day.
All right, my brother.
Thank you, caller. It's interesting to hear these various views from different people, and of course, the proposed list from the Free National Movement. I understood they were supposed to be sending out a list soon, and apparently they have listed. These are confirmed personalities, as we understand it.
Well, according to the
source?
Eyewitness News and the
Yes.
other, this was sent to them.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah,
Well,
they didn't put this together. This was sent to them
Oh, okay.
as proposed.
Propose
for the
candidates
up-
for the
candidates.
okay. Well, okay, we can work with that then. If those credible sources have it, well, we can speak to it. And you see that there were some, of course, who participated in the last general
Yes,
election.
I could give you a few names.
Yes.
Well, you have in Kalani, Dr. Sands, who we know ran in the
Yes, he
last
did.
general election.
Uh-huh.
We also have Mr. Michael Folks, who's returning to run again.
Uh-huh.
Miss Miriam Emanuel,
Yes.
Mr. Ellsworth Johnson.
Edward Johnson. Yes.
Yes. We have in Mount Moriah, Mr. Marvin Dames.
Marvin Dames. Yes.
Fort Charlotte, Travis Robinson.
Yes.
And Bamboo Town, Mr. Renwood Wells. And you have Mr. Ricky Mackey back in Naughty Lutheran.
Yes. Yes. I remember.
But
him.
it's different now because in the seats, the 2 seats in Abaco, I don't see Mr. Henfield.
Okay.
So apparently, Mr. Henfield might be looking to retire.
Okay.
If this list goes, if it stays to Fort Worth, there are only 2 seats in Abaco.
Right. They've named one person, right?
They've named in North Abaco, where Mr. Henfield ran the last time, Mr. Gary Smith.
Oh, Gary Smith. Okay.
And now they're saying in South Abaco, it's a lady, Miss Boodle.
Oh, okay. I understand. So
Yeah,
they've named 2.
Yeah, so it look like Senator Henfield might be moving on into pastures or so, because even with their proposed shuffle in the Senate, there seems to be some changes. So looking at the list, I don't see his name anywhere unless further down, he'll be given a candidacy at a later date.
That may very well be, yeah. So I do believe my producer saying we have a call on the line. Caller, you're live on air. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, Professor, Mr.
Hey, what's up?
Cartwright.
Yes, sir, my brother.
What is the purpose of
Go ahead, my brother.
every potential representative of each constituency based on the PLP lineup? Is that what I'm hearing right now?
No, this is
No,
the lineup.
this is the
Free National
potential
Movement.
lineup by the Free National Movement.
So yeah, I caught that, but I think I was hearing the PLP before this. And if I'm wrong, I don't want to keep you all day because I don't want my phone to fade out on me. But is it proper to be calling these people out? Because Professor told me before that we should pick somebody from our constituency and not listen to this lineup that you're doing right now.
Well, like he said, it's basically, brother, is that these are the potential candidates of this political party, and then also the potential candidate of the PLP, unlike any other. But by law, the Constitution allows you to choose from within. It doesn't tell you that you are no allegiance to no political party.
But maybe I may be too American on this one. But doesn't the Constitution also says that each political party must be represented equally, on anything given to one political party should be given to the next, or is that just American?
No, but
No.
The Constitution is there for everybody. Political parties and non-political
But right
parties.
now, I'm listening 10 minutes on your show. All you're talking about is FNM or PLPs.
No, but what we were talking about, if you were to listen carefully, was a listing of potential candidates for the Free National Movement in the next general election. Let me just explain something since you brought it up. When you look at the Constitution does not say constituents have any allegiance of any kind to a political party to vote for any particular candidate of any political party.
Yes.
The political parties will have the option of choosing a particular person, even though we know from 52 years plus experience, they do not consult with the constituents of that particular constituency.
Absolutely.
I heard one name in my constituency. I know nothing about that person. Absolutely nothing. But that particular personality has been named by the Free National Movement to run on their ticket in that particular constituency.
So they send you who they want you to vote for.
That's exactly it. Has been going for 52 years. And
Absolutely.
I am saying to the constituents, you do not have to be a member of a particular political party or even a follower political party to participate in the parliamentary process of this country. Choosing a parliamentary representative is not the responsibility of a particular political party. I think people need to understand that. Choosing a parliamentary representative is not the responsibility of a particular political party. What the political party does is send someone who is a crony into a given constituency and tell the people of that particular constituency, vote for that particular personality. The people could reject it outright. You have constitutional authority to do that. What I'd like to see happen, and I think I'm going to get some town meetings on this, where we can have open town meetings to deal with parliamentary democracy as it is outlined in the Constitution. What does that really mean? Because having a party candidate is one thing, having a parliamentary representative is another thing. And political parties have been for ages doing the same crap over and over and over again, bypassing the constituents in that particular constituency, and they have no reference whatsoever because the parties don't consult them. You get that, caller? Caller, you there? I'm not hearing the caller. Maybe the caller is gone. But the point is, Bahamians, we have seen this happen time and time again. The Constitution doesn't say they can't do it, but the Constitution gives you the authority, Article 24.1, to protect your interests. Now, if you're serious about protecting your interests, then you have to take the crap from any political party. What is sad is that the constituents in those constituencies need to organize themselves for the protection of their interests. It doesn't matter what church you belong to. It doesn't matter what lodge you're in. To be involved in the parliamentary process, you must be a Bahamian citizen, 18 years old and upward. That's according to the Constitution. And you have to be registered in that particular constituency on the parliamentary list, potential list of registered voters. Because you're not a voter until you actually vote. And you have to get your name on that list. That is what constituents ought to be doing. Because if you don't do that, you cannot participate. Or you ought not to be participating in the parliamentary process of choosing a potential representative. And I think this is the misunderstanding that has been in the psyche of Bahamian people from its inception. They believe they have to automatically support the candidate of a political party. The answer is no, you don't. And I think it's high time that Bahamian people start thinking for themselves. And I believe it's high time we have some solid meetings in these constituencies where people can be properly educated according to the Constitution, according to even what the statute law says about parliamentary representation. But you start with the Constitution first. That's the supreme law of the land. All statute laws relating to parliamentary functions ought to follow the Constitution. And if it ain't doing that, it's worthless, Bahamians. And people need to understand that they just do all kinds of things, write laws, pass laws, and you don't even know what is in the document because you don't read it, you don't study it. And they know you ain't going to study it. They know you're going to listen to the crap that they write and say, this is our platform, this is our whatever they decide to call it. Bahamians, we can't get anywhere like that. We have to start thinking for ourselves. I believe the caller was there, but I think the caller left. I don't know whether his phone dropped or what. But the problem is, and this is something I'm going to have to go to great lengths to explain to you from the Constitution of this country. Because for too long, our people have been misled, they've been lied to, they've been deceived, and they've made some very bad mistakes. We've made some very bad choices. We didn't have to, but we did. You see the kind of suffering we get when we make bad choices? Because we're not thinking for ourselves. We're allowing the governor of the Bahamas to sign all kind of crappy agreements, which we know nothing about. We can play a tape from the Prime Minister in a short while. And I want you to listen carefully to what the man say. Listen to what the man say. This ain't no AI. This him. We're going to bring that up later. Brother Cartwright, go ahead.
Yes, there's been an up-to-date listing from the Free National Movement leader, Mr. Michael Pentard. He is rejecting a widely circulated list claiming to be the party's official slate of candidates for the next general election. Mr. Pentard tells the media that the list featuring the name of current and former MPs, like Mr. Shannon Dawn Cartwright and Dr. Dwayne Sands, is completely false.
Oh boy. Bahamians, I'm glad Brother Cartwright put that out there. Because see, what I keep saying to you is, we heard the information from credible sources. That's why we went on air with it, Bahamians. I do apologize to the Bahamian people for it. But we know the sources. They normally give credible information. That's why we made it public. However, they could also be misled, and that poses a problem because we just got a note, and Brother Cartwright read it, and I'm happy that Brother Cartwright put that on air to say that what has been circulated coming from the leader himself of the Free National Movement, that is not the official list. Bahamians way in for a rough ride for this election. You see why I keep saying to you, we have to use our constitutional authority to make sure we get the right persons in the House of Assembly and to have the right persons in the cabinet, the right persons in the Senate. You see why this is so important? Instead of leaving it up to a political party to choose particular personalities and just push them into a particular constituency. You see the danger in this? Anyhow, I think we got a call on the line, Mr. Producer. Call you live on air. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, Professor.
Hey, you dropped off the line.
I didn't hang up on you.
But I didn't hear you. I wasn't
Yeah, I
hear you
didn't
at all.
hang up though. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay. All
I
right.
called back. I was trying to call back a couple of times. But the point I was trying to make, and I sat back and I listened to you until I was disconnected somehow. But the point I'm trying to make is that people, when you're speaking politically and electorally, are like fans at a game, at a ball game. And you mention that word on that microphone, you affect them deeply. And you are a radio station, well, you're part of a radio station, and all you do is do advertisements. Listening to the lineup of a team, when I hear nothing about the COI. Now, I know you might have cut me off in a second, but I want to say that the first, you might have the dumbest people in the world walk into one of those polls. And when they have the choice of who to elect or mark the X for, would be the only name they remember. And your station right now is guilty of giving these people a free advertisement. And I hear nothing about, I wouldn't even say the COI, other parties. But I don't want to know that Dwayne Sands is now running for Kalani. That's money right there. Hello?
Yeah, I'm listening. Go ahead, caller.
Okay, that's all I wanted to say. You can't give these people these free advertisements, man. You guys are my favorite company. And I'm coming to ask you for some free advertisements very soon.
Hey, but brother C. But brother C, here's the thing. It was something that was put out and then now corrected. We can only go by what comes across. Now,
Yeah, man, but even the correction is a blessing.
yeah, but I always say to all political parties, if you have stuff that you want and you don't want it to be like what we just read, then you could basically bring a certified saying this is from this is our choice or whatever, and we would read it the same way as we read the previous one. But you can't read people's minds. And like Professor keeps saying, politics in this country has become colors, not whereby that we look for the best person or personality to represent us. Sometimes,
But sir, I have to interrupt you right there.
Yeah.
Who is the COI for Kalani right now?
I would be fibbing to you and tell you I know. I don't.
That's the publicity I want and I need. But the way you're doing it, you're just giving a choice of two parties.
But I can only give what I have.
But are you paying for this?
No.
Somebody got to pay for it?
No. It's news. If you bring news and it's verifiable, then you read it. But if no one brings you the news,
Yes, sir. Yes,
you
sir. I
can't read
understand.
it.
You are perfectly correct. But let me tell you something. There is a candidate running for Freetown. That's a Camp Road area, right?
Uh-huh.
It's a young lady. Do you know that she spent half of her time when she was making that speech for the COI trying to get us to remember her name?
Wow.
Yeah, she said her name was blah.
Caller, we have an interruption on your phone again. Mr. Bruce may not be able to hear him. We'll have to move on. Caller, you're live on air. Go ahead, please.
Good afternoon, Professor.
Yes, ma'am.
And good afternoon, Mr. Cartwright.
Good afternoon, madam.
Professor, I was watching this video yesterday with these illegal Haitians
Yes, ma'am.
taking over, people's homes when they're
Yes.
not there.
I was informed of that yesterday.
And I was just reading in one of the local U.S. papers in South Florida, where the Border Patrol are saying now they're going to be paying strict attention to human smuggling. Because then, Mr. Trump has lifted the temporary protections for Haitians, Venezuelans, and a couple other nations. So everybody now that he is deporting back to their countries here in the Caribbean, Haiti, and wherever else down here, we need to, we don't even need to say, look out for them coming in on boats. Because they got so sophisticated now with the help of Mr. Davis. They don't even need to get on the boat. He's sending the plane 3 times a week to go pick them up. And we have no way in this country of vetting these people. They had a Haitian person came over to the States the other day. He was in a prison in Haiti for 10 years for murdering somebody. But somehow he got on a raft and made it into the state of Florida. Now he was picked up and eventually they found out the type of person he was. Do we know if we have these people who broke out of prisons in Haiti in our country? We can't know because there's no vetting of anybody coming in. And this is a real problem for us. And these people are very presumptuous and they won't get up in your face. These people are, and all of these men especially, they just want to come, they want to attack people. You see the police car was halted the other day when they had their Haitian flag day. We're losing our culture. We got the Haitians flying their flag. We got the Chinese not doing their dragon to do. This is the Bahamas. And then, Mr. Davis, I am you and you is me, and we got to be apart until we could come together. Well, I guess this is now the coming together, the Haitian people in the Bahamas, with the help of Brave Davis. And we have a major problem in this country.
But and
they've spread themselves to every island in this Bahamas.
But Caller, here's the thing. It is funny and amazed me that people don't realize that all they can do in Parliament is say, listen, it's illegal for you to fly or celebrate any other flag in the Bahamas. That's a simple law they can do. Because constitutionally gives them that power.
Yes.
So if they want to, they can make anything. Don't forget now, you need permission for Flag Day. You need permission for the property you're going to use. You need permission for all these things. So all they got to say, listen, we're not giving you permission.
It's denied.
It's denied. What you can do?
And see why we're not going to get that, Mr. Cartwright? Because if you notice now, when they were down at the Haitian church in Abaco, Mr. Davis juggling for position, the F&M president, everybody wants to see who can sit in the front seat. So if we have both political parties sitting up in these Haitian church, and then you got Mr. Davis out there celebrating Haitian Flag Day, and then you got these other members in Parliament who we have voted to send to Parliament, they have no voice at all. You can tell me 39 MPs in Parliament, not one on no side has come up and talked or addressed illegal immigration in this country. And the amount of people that are coming in every day.
Caller, I'm going to have to go to a break. If you want to hold on, you can, if you want to. I can let you finish.
I would, sir.
Okay, hold on then. Okay, thank you very much. We're going to go to a break. This is Professor Sidney McCarter, Walter Thompson on the Global Radio Network, 99.5. Express yourself. We'll be back after the break.
Express Yourself Live will return right after this.
Whether you're shopping for
Follow us live on Facebook and Global Radio 99.5FM.com. Express yourself.
This is Professor Sidney Thompson on the Global Radio Network 99.5 FM. Caller, we allow you to completely wrap up what you were saying quickly as we have to move on.
Yes, let me just wrap up. Professor, what can we now do in reference to recalling these passports? Where we are with the Constitution on that?
Brother Conrad.
Well, here's what you do with a passport. If a government deems that you don't qualify for the passport, right? All the government has to do, because they're the ones who issue out the passport, when that passport is up, all they could do for recall, either they can call for it to come back in now, or they can wait till the passport is up and don't renew it. And once they said we're not renewing the passport, the government don't have to give you an explanation for the reason why they're not giving you a passport, because they could always declare it, which is in their purview, in the essence of national security.
Yeah.
And once they make that statement, ain't nothing you can do. No court could bother with you with that. So they can, that's an option they can do. But I think we need to now seriously look at how to address this problem, because this problem has been vexing. And I've spoken with elderly people of Haitian descent, elderly Haitian, younger ones, and the one consensus I found out is that no one ever proposed to them that those who were born here, especially those who were born here, on a pathway to some permanent residence, or those who didn't qualify on a certain essence of a work permit with a control mechanism in place. And I was like, If these people them understand that, why has no one bothered to say? Because basically what we've been doing and what's been happening is that it has been to me, I call it an illegal practice, because you're telling these people one thing and you're making money off of them, and then they don't realize it, that they're being played to be made money off. And then once they spend their money, they feel that they're obligated to have something which they're not entitled to.
Okay, caller, I have to.
Yeah, my last point. I think what we need to do is recall, even when it comes to residency, we need to take them all back until we can get this country sorted out. So everybody needs to go back, and then let's start over.
I think we need to start over from
Once you're
scratch.
not a native-born Bahamian, we need to start this thing over, because we can't, even if they're born here, we can't allow them, because they're coming too often. The women are having children twice in 1 year. We can't afford that. You look at our Bahamian women, we're not having children like that.
Yes, ma'am.
So we can't afford these folks. They need to go home. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your contribution. See, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, Bahamas, we have a real problem which we have to deal with. It's going to take the citizenry of the Commonwealth of Bahamas to change it. We have to use our Constitution. The Constitution has pertinent answers in it. It tells us how citizenship ought to be dealt with. But I can't make a comment before I play
Yes,
the tape.
Professor, this is one of the problems I keep facing, is that our parliamentarians been telling these people of all sorts, not only Haitians, but all those, oh, you're born in Bahamas, yes, we could get you straight, which is basically a lie.
It is.
And then you have these people go and get their money and pay, and then when you look and you show them, listen, man, you ain't supposed to have this.
That's right.
They mad at you for telling them the truth.
Exactly.
When it should have been done in the beginning to say, listen, X, Y, Z is what you say.
Okay.
And I also, like I had a friend of mine said to me, even got the Haitian embassy is also being a part of this this collusion.
Yes.
Because there's writing up documents saying that these people renounce where we know.
They can't renounce.
I said one of these days I would like for us to have someone from the embassy where we could grill them on their constitution and show them our constitution and let them explain to their people while they're here why they should not have and why they cannot have our documents. Because we having this banter back and forth.
Yeah.
And it really, that's why we're in this mess.
Yes.
Because the parliamentarians would not be truthful and stick to the Constitution.
That's the nuts and bolts of the answer, what the Cartwright just said. You have to stick rigidly with the Constitution, and the parliamentarians are not doing that. They don't even know it. See, when you have people in there who don't know the Constitution, they're not living by the Constitution, they're not governing by the Constitution, Bahamians, we got a real problem. We don't necessarily have to hear from that side because we know they don't have a functioning government. So what are we doing in Haiti? All you have a bunch of rebels running the country. You do not have a functioning democratic government in Haiti at this time. But yet the Bahamas is busy doing deals with Haiti. We're going to ask my producer in a moment to play that tape from the Prime Minister. Mr. Producer, if you have it ready.
A deal, wait and see. I don't need to get into these details. Look, I don't need to, we have a project, we have an arrangement and a deal, wait and see. I don't need to get into these details. Instead of us coming together to ensure that this project is successful, why just stand back or criticize? But for years, nothing has happened. Something is about to happen. Let us work together to see that it happen instead of asking these questions. That really is only about trying to get political fodder out there to talk about. I'm not about that now. I'm about trying to ensure that this project succeeds and that the Bahamian people, and particularly the Grand Bahamian people, benefit from it.
Mr. Cartwright?
Here's my problem I have with the Prime Minister's statement. You saying a deal, a project. Respectfully, Mr. Prime Minister, when it comes to Bahamian land and resources, business-wise, you represent us on a business level. Now, if you were doing something with a law firm or some small time, yeah, that's a deal. That's a project. But when you're dealing with matters pertaining to the Bahamas, no, we need to know exactly what's in them MOUs that you guys are signing and tell us in fully how is it going to impact us down the road. I keep asking this question. When are we going to get some parliamentarians with the cojones to repeal the Removable Property Act, which Mr. Ingram had basically made law? Because here's the problem. We keep selling everything from underneath the Bahamian.
Yeah.
If you look around this town, everywhere you turn now, land is very high cost. You now see where more non-Bahamians owning properties. We saw it on a video clip where people who could not speak English move into somebody's property, say they pay it. When are we going to get a leader who's going to be serious about dealing seriously? I hear them talk. They say, no, they're going to talk about this land reform. I want to see the details of that because I strongly believe that this is going to be another setback where it can push Bahamians further back in the back of the bus. Because now you're going to make it more easier for non-Bahamians to buy land. It means now Bahamians would not have any. We would basically be like those who've been coming here having to leave our own country.
That's right.
That's ridiculous. So whenever you talk about dealing the Bahamians' business, Mr. Prime Minister, it is not a deal. It's not a project. Tell us what you put in those memorandums and let us know who these people are seriously, because the track record of those people you're talking about, who's supposed to be buying that hotel, they have not completed any business venture that they put their hands into. Basically, what they've done is more like speculating. They bought land and then flip it over to some other person. So if that's their track record, why would I want them here to do business? And if I notice with people in Grandmama, if I notice, I want you to look carefully. All of your precious shoreline is now being eyeballed by these cruise ships. And the cruise ships are now basically moving in a direction where not only they having a island business per se, but now they're moving onto the land base where they now wants to own hotels. If you listen to that, you notice when the Prime Minister talked about how they were going to have cruise, dealing with cruise hotels, stuff like that. That's like,
Right.
Why are we going down this road? We are now basically giving away all of our stuff to this group of cruise ships.
Right.
The other day, them and the government and the Port Authority were very at each other's throat about
They
money
were.
owed. Then all of a sudden now, they're buddies.
Yes.
My dad always tell me, he said, when meat is rotten, you can smell it.
Yes.
And something doesn't smell right here, Mr. Prime Minister. Until you all tell us honestly what is happening, who are the real players, because that hotel will be knocked down. Because that's a mold infested. Because all the other properties around it was already knocked down because of the same thing. Hurricane destroyed and made that property uninsurable. So if it can't be insured, why are you spending all this money?
That's a good question. I'm going to comment on it. I think we have a call on the line, Mr. Carter. Right. Caller, you're live on air. Go ahead, please.
Hello again. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing okay.
I like to hear the info of what's going on right now, which is talking about, right? But there was always a question of mine as a young Bahamian about the Hawksbill Creek Agreement.
Yes.
I'd like to know what is the real situation on that, because I never heard about anybody in any country whereas you lease something out and then you sell it back to the Bahamians, or you own it to a certain extent, whereas you can't, at least Bahamian people are not allowed to, gain it as how we should, gain access to it as how we should as Bahamians, as owners of the land. If you understand what I'm asking.
Yeah, of course, here's the
right.
problem. In the early days with the Hawksbill Creek Agreement, right? And where I understand it was that the first local government of our parliament, which was the UBP, and Grand Bahama they were looking for ideas how to make money to the treasury. And so what they did was they was not efficient or fully understanding of governance. So what they did is, you know what? I'm going to let someone take this load off of me, fix this place up, and I make money off it. Once the PLP came to power, so Lyndon in his first couple of terms said, okay, this is being profitable for us. Cool. Now, as time went by, no one saw fit to say, okay, we now can take care of the state on our own. Instead of now leasing, my brother, our agreement now is finished now because we now know how to maintain this ourselves. All they did was pass it down the road and keep saying we can renew an agreement because none of the governments since Lyndon wanted to take that responsibility, which the people elect them to do, to take care of their business. So they look for an easy way out. And so when you look at basically most of the businesses now, when it comes to land and keys, so Lyndon had an act that basically prevented anyone from buying properties, especially those keys in the islands in the Bahamas. Mr. Ingram decided he wanted a shorter way to make money, and so they opted listening to the realtors. And I always tell people that the realtors are a minority grouping because when you start to sell off all of your keys and your assets, you make it more expensive for your citizens to own. Because, go ahead.
How is it then you have an agreement of lease? It's like me moving into somebody's building and saying, all right, I leasing out this building for a year.
You get a lease could be for the problem I saw is that when Mr. Ingram took away that lease power, it put a very, very high demand. If you know, I don't know how old you are, but I can tell you, I'm 63. And I realized that land went through the roof, price-wise. Because if a foreigner owns something, for you to buy it back, he is not going to sell it to you for what he paid for, or even for a small profit.
No,
He's going to hold on to that till that profit goes. Because one thing you realize with land value don't go down, land value go up. So so I'm saying to them in Parliament, it's up to them. And I think it now needs the Bahamian public state to put pressure on their parliamentarians and listen, man, if you cannot repeal that act, don't come to my house for my vote. See, the same way how outsiders blackmail them to do things, biddings for them, we got the greatest blackmail power, our vote. If nobody votes for them, how you think they can get in Parliament?
Paul, are you there? Caller, we can hardly hear you.
I can hardly hear you, caller.
I said, you don't see these people no more. They shut the door, turn left, I'm giving.
Don't worry, you can see them because this now is election year now because everybody can be coming around. You can see them more than you see your own family. That's how much they can be coming to your house.
Calling you a gobble, you're going to have to see if you can get a clear line. We can hardly hear you. We'll have to disconnect the call because we're not hearing you at all. Call back again, please.
If you can.
The point is, I want to comment on what the Prime Minister said. The Prime Minister made some remarks about the deal and this project that he said he's doing. We do not have clear understanding of what it's all about, who are the real principles behind it. This is supposed to have been either memorandum of understanding, whatever that's supposed to mean, or heads of agreement. We do not have clearly defined details as to what is going on. We're getting bits and pieces of what some people say is in it. We don't know whether that's true or not, just like the confusion we had earlier in the show about the Free National Movement, where we got from a reputable source the information, and then you had another thing sent out by the leader of that particular party, the Free National Movement, saying that that information is false, is not true. Now, we can't be blamed for that, Bahamians, because we know we normally get reputable information from the source we got it from, so we were prepared to announce it. We do apologize to the Bahamian people for incorrect information, but we will work harder next time to make sure before we put it out, we got to ascertain as to whether the information is rock solidly sound, yes or no. At least as far as this show is concerned, let me put it that way. I believe we have a caller on the line. Caller, you live on air. Go ahead, please. Caller, you there?
Hello, good day, Mr. Thompson.
Yeah, go ahead, caller.
Yeah, anyone else in the studio?
Yes, sir. Go ahead, bro.
Hey, yeah, good day. Yeah, Mr. Thompson, in reference to basically these illegal migrants, right? Mr. Thompson, you know too much here, right? I had an experience yesterday at the supermarket, right? And my car sitting I see my car door open up. I look in. This woman comes sit down in my car. I ain't got a girlfriend. I just look in, right? She get back up, close the door. Oh, wrong car. She go on the next car. A Haitian woman, man. There's so much in there. I mean, they lost, you know. There's so much of them. And I talking about get up this morning, every day you turn into the streets, stepping in the cars, walking past, man, Mr. Thompson. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
The government ain't doing nothing. I see the other when the results of my last week. They had one of my raids. Like about 10, 12 officers, right? You know, we joking, right? We are joking. We even got enough immigration officers to even do one decent raid. And in fact, when immigration's doing raids, they're supposed to be doing numerous raids simultaneously. We ain't got the manpower to do that. But the government surely have the audacity to import people from a riot-torn country. I mean, basically run by terrorists. We don't know who these people are who are coming here. We don't know. I mean, like, you know, some of them are gang members who come in here. You know, Mr. Thompson, right?
Yeah.
And the government, they're just allowing it, and everyone's sitting back like being this nightmare, you know, being this nightmare and be screaming, but like people who haven't even called them our leaders, they say leaders. They're not our leaders, Mr. Thompson. Because all they know is misleading us and leading us down a road of destruction, leading all of us into harm's way. We can watch online and see how who them people are. You know, they make a certain way to get started reach here. But when they get here, and when them come out, I understand that they're throwing rock at police guarding and all, man.
Yeah, I was reliably informed, yes.
You know, you didn't be ready for that. Deeper than that, why our government continue to allow these people? I mean, why do they allow it? Well, I mean, it's special kinship and things. What is it for? And I mean, at our peril, it ain't fair. These men who doing that, they're not the criminal, man. From Loftus Roca time when they stop Loftus from doing this thing. You know, this criminality been going up from then and it continues to go on. And Mr. Thompson, like the lady told you that the case here before the court, that case ain't coming up until after they throw election, and that's what JD they is. Trust me. That's why it's taking so long. You know, I mean, I'm blaming the courts, you know, because the courts look like everything run by the government. Hello?
Yeah, well, caller, here's the thing. That matter is not a political matter. It's a constitutional matter. So it means that it don't care who sits in the chairs, the government. They will have to answer for that.
Yeah, they'll
and so we're saving. And I think what people don't understand is that a lot of people are saying, well, oh, this way. No, this matter is about the Constitution. And so any party or anyone who sits in that chair, if you're not prepared to take on this matter seriously in dealing with citizenship and with all the trappings come with the articles in the Constitution, you're going to find yourself more problems than you think, because it ain't going. You know, and I keep trying to explain to people, I said, listen, you know, a group of friends of us, we sat down the other evening watching the basketball game, and we took a break and we said, let's talk. And we started to talk on immigration. He said, you know, whether these people in this country in the parliament understands it, the generation who are coming behind us is not as passive as we were or as our grandparents. They're going to start to stand up and take matters in their own hands. And he said, before that happened, he would like to see the parliament do their job, because he said the younger Bahamians who coming up going to be frustrated, because if you look around right now, there's hardly any land for them to buy. There's hardly any work for them. And then you put a man in a corner. It's like, using the local term, if you back a rat into a corner and you try to go to get, he will bite you and he will attack you. And this is where this road is going. And I don't think our parliamentarians, they look at this as a game. To me, it's not a game.
We're going to have to go to break. Caller, thank you for your contribution. No, but I have to cut you because we have to go to a break.
Yeah, they put we had the music in the background.
But thanks for your contribution.
Great input.
This is Professor Sidney McArthur, Walter Thompson. The lines are open 326-0271, 326-0272, 813-0271. And you and the family islands can send us information on 813-0271. You have to be active as to what's happening in your country. And Bahamians, you have to be organized to protect your country. This is Professor Sidney McArthur, Walter Thompson on Express Yourself on the Global Radio Network. We'll be back after the break.
Express Yourself Live will return right after this.
Do you love fresh flowers at
Let your voice be heard. Speak your mind and express yourself. Call in and participate at 326-0271 or 326-0272. WhatsApp us your concerns on 809-2310. Follow us live on Facebook and globalradio99.5fm.com. Express yourself.
This is Professor Sidney McArthur, Walter Thompson on the Global Radio Network 99.5 FM. Bahamians, we have some very serious issues in the country. A lot of you have your concerns about what's happening to your country. That is a good thing. But you have to do more than just have concerns. You have to take active interest, and you have to take the necessary action that is essential, collectively, of course. Organized action, constitutionally sound action. We just can't keep complaining. And we shouldn't just keep complaining, but take no organized movement to bring change. That's the only way it will happen, Bahamians. You have the Holy Bible, which we ought to put in our national affairs, and the Constitution of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. And if you work with the two of those documents, which are always right, the Constitution of this country is never wrong because you have to see everything through the eyes of the Constitution. Why? Because it's the supreme law. It's just as simple as that. Not the word of a political personality, not the word of a political party. There's nothing supreme about that. The Constitution says in Article 2, any other law that is inconsistent with this Constitution, this Constitution shall prevail. That means it overcomes. It takes precedence over the Nationality Act. It takes precedence over statute law that doesn't comply with the Constitution. I told you the Electricity Act. We're going to spend some time on that and some other shows and show you point by point by point. That's why I want the Prime Minister to release that heads of agreement so we can examine it in detail and see where it fits into the Constitution. Is it constitutionally sound? You can't just come and say a couple of things, or you say what you say is in the document. We ain't see nothing. We don't have no documentation on anything except that you said it. And Damons, we can't go with that. And he said we haven't had situations in so many years. Yes, we've had situations that have not worked out in Grand Bahama, time after time after time again, because the government of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas has not been honest and open and reliable and dependable and responsible with these heads of agreement. The people don't know. You see the GAIN project? Big failure in Grand Bahama. Mr. Bruce, you have that tape already? Oh, caller. Oh, we got a caller on the line. Caller, you're live on air. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, I just want to finish up by saying, yeah, I have the solutions for Haiti. You see that Mr. David, he said that the Chinese already made a proposal, like the Bahamas government must be about $200 million to build a hospital or something like that.
I think it's about 294, 296, somewhere around there.
Okay, you know what? But it's ironic, right? The Chinese, because they wrote the project and all of the infrastructure they look to put in the Caribbean, right? But look around. Like, the Chinese only hire Haitians when they come in the Bahamas. You see that, right? But notice the Chinese, they make no investment in Haiti. The solution to Haiti is the China, the same proposals they give it to us. We need to get proposals from America. America needs to be doing what China is doing for us. China would be better spending their road and belt money in Haiti so that Haitians can build their country. And all the music around here, I think, they'll go home because guess what? They have something to go to.
But
Caller, hold on. I think Cartwright wants to say
here's
something.
a joke on that. You said something. I don't believe you understand what you just said.
I understand. But
do you know that the Chinese had proposed electrical facility basically for Haiti under the former president who got killed, who was about to allow the Chinese to come into his country and electrify the whole of Haiti.
That's what they need to do.
But if you notice carefully, soon as he basically was talking that talk, you notice he been missing.
Yeah.
Certain people in the region and also certain people in some of these countries, when they've been having it so good to having things done their way, anyone who comes along with a different idea to make life better for the citizens, they fight it down. Because
that's the rich oligarchy in Haiti.
Yes, and so when you look at it, all the problem Haiti is facing is because these groupings do not want changes. And so any changes come about, they would fight it down. Because even if you listen to the so-called rebels, the rebels said one thing, and I always remember what they said, listen, former President Moisey was our problem. We don't need no one to tell us how to deal with our problem. Now you got rid of our problem, that become our problem because now you become our problem. Because you now coming into my country to tell me who I should now be the solver of my problem. And so when you hear people talk that talk and you look around the world, people are no longer wanting outsiders to come into their country to fix it. They say you can come in and help me, but you got to go.
Yeah, but the nations can't feel like that because nations outside in every one country is mad.
Well, here's the
Thousands
thing.
countries to thousands million.
I've been to Haiti, and I
Yeah.
always tell people this. One of the things that I saw in Haiti, and I always said, if they could ever get a government that is basically half of what we've had in the early days of Linden, Haiti would be far more better than the Bahamas. I guarantee.
That's
you.
right.
Okay.
Okay.
Caller, thank you
Yeah.
for your
Take
contribution.
care.
We'd have to move on. Medusa, go ahead. You can play the tape.
I think of his life, I think of the statement by that famous Black American Congressman, John Lewis, who urges all of us to fight injustices. And to do so, sometimes you have to get in trouble. But then that's good trouble. So Rodney got in trouble a lot of times, but it was always good trouble. It was always rooted in some cause that you could point to. That he was, he thought that children were not being treated properly in school, or the surroundings which were being taught was not good, and he'll be there with that voice leading it and standing up to truth, to power, to ensure that the truth is exposed and the issues addressed. And so yes, that's a life that we must all sort of emulate in one way or the other.
Brother Cartwright.
It's amazing when a man dies. Everybody got good things to say about you. I hope that wherever I go, I'm going to leave a letter to say, if you cannot speak the truth about me, don't speak. Because these guys, I mean, when Rodney was alive, I hardly hear any of those kind words and accolades are now being bestowed on him. Now that he's gone, he can't help it. He can't hear it.
No, he can't.
And, it's amazing that all of a sudden, when you ask people to speak on someone when they die, all of a sudden they got all the ice cream flavors to put all over you. But outside of that, they never really tell you to your face when you're alive.
Why don't we make a change in that since the Prime Minister made those remarks? Why don't we tell people it while they're alive, here so they can hear it, they can enjoy it, they can appreciate it? We always seem to want to put accolades on people after they're dead. They can't hear anything, they can't smell it, they cannot participate in it. I believe you need to be honest and upfront because, yes, Rodney fought against certain injustices, but did the people stand with him? That people would say, Professor, continue, you're doing a good work. To me, that's not good enough, Bahamians. It takes the collective will. See, this is why I stick rigidly with the Constitution. It takes the collective will of a people to bring change. One person can assist in helping to bring change, but you need more than just that one person. You need more than 2 people, 3 people. You need persons on the ground having a common cause, a common purpose, which is the Constitution of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, which is the supreme law of the land, that you want to see this supreme law take precedence in your country. How many of us are prepared to do that? Then Rodney wouldn't have had to fight so hard, and maybe he would have been alive today. But we always seem to want, after the person is deceased, you have all these nice, wonderful things. And I'm not saying the Prime Minister is lying on him. I'm not saying that at all. But the point is, I think we are placing it in the wrong time, because while he was alive and he was fighting for these causes, he talked about getting in trouble for the right cause. Well, fine, and that does happen. But how many are prepared to stand up and fight with Rodney, with others who are prepared to do that? That's where you draw the line. Because I see a lot of people who will say a lot of things around the dinner table, or perhaps under the tree, or they're taking some liquor, or they're drinking or smoking, and they say all kinds of things. But they will never participate in changing things right in their own constituency where they live, right in their own community. And they become troublemakers right on the ground in there. I know we have some problems right in Fort Fincastle. Some new problems in Fort Fincastle, which we have to get solved. We can't keep living like this. We didn't have them before, but we have them now. But the point is, you have some people who believe that they could just come and set up shop and do any kind of foolishness. And it takes away from the peace and tranquility that we have had for decades. We shouldn't have to be going through this. Why should people be allowed to come into a community where people have been living peacefully for decades and be disrupted by these particular individuals? It just doesn't make sense. They'd come and set up shop as if they're supposed to do anything and everything, and you're supposed to accept it. You have to fight against these things, Bahamians, but you can't just sit back and say, well, that ain't my problem, because it affects everyone in the community. I'm affected by it. You can't even have a quiet evening on a Saturday, which of course is my Sabbath. I want to sit in my yard and have a peaceful Sabbath evening. You can't have that. All you have is a bunch of junk disturbing the community. On a Sunday, it's the same crap. You can't even sit in your yard, turn on your radio to hear something on the radio because other people got their music going on. And it goes on every single day of the week, day and night, day and night. The same crap over and over and over and over again. You think that's going to go on forever? No, we can stop that foolishness. But this is what we have. We just cannot allow people to come into a community and disrupt the orderly lives of citizens who've been there for decades, and now their peace is being disturbed. That's disturbing the peace. We're not accustomed to that foolishness. But this is the way people behave. They don't understand law and order. They're violating every statute law. And people are going to soon have problems with their ears because you're hearing too much crap. You may have hearing problems later on down the road because this constant banging against your eardrums, day in and day out, night in and night out. How much of that can we take? The psychological damage it does to your mind and your body. Anyone talk about that? Anyone evaluating that? But we will have to do something about it. And it will be stopped, Bahamians, I can assure you that. It can be stopped in Fort Fincastle. That's where I live. And I don't like it. And I'm sure you have some situations in your area what you do not like. But are you prepared to stand up with your other brothers and sisters in that particular community, in that particular constituency, and make a strong determination? Article 24.1 kicks in for the protection of your interests. We just don't have enough people who are prepared to openly defy this kind of foolishness and nonsense. We see all kinds of strangers walking around who do not speak English, looking for something, watching people's homes. What are you supposed to do? What are people standing in front of your yard for? To do what? And the molestation on children. And parents, you have to be very careful because we have too much of that now. And there's this talk, and maybe Friday, Brother Hylam, you might want to, Brother Cartwright, you might want to talk about that. People are talking about who should not, names should not be mentioned to protect the interests of the children. That's what they're saying now. I don't know nothing about that. The man is 50-something, 60-something. You can't call his name because he molested his stepdaughter or his daughter or his niece. This is the kind of talk we're hearing now on the radio. And we can the open line is on Friday.
Yes.
That's tomorrow.
Yes.
And we're going to open that up, Bahamians, because I want to say something about that. Because, see, God has something to say about it, you know. If we were to find out what God says and follow his advice, that problem would be over today. You ain't got to worry about that no more. That's a finished deal. Because you ain't going to have them around to create trouble like that. You know what it is to molest a 12-year-old child repeatedly and then get 10 years? 10 years in jail? What kind of crap is that? What kind of justice is that? That child has been scarred for life. And then you can't mention the name of the wicked person who committed this atrocious act on this child. But you say we can't call his name because that's his stepdaughter or that. Listen, carnal nature is just what it is, carnal nature. If you can do that to your stepdaughter or your niece or your young person in your family, you'll do it to anybody. Anyone is open season for people like that because they are unrepentant. And when they have these strange feelings come over them, whoever's in the way get hit. It's just as simple as that. So not mentioning their name is no protection. And people want to know who the sex predators are because they got children too. And you don't know when something untoward is going to happen. You got people walking around with ankle bracelets. They're supposed to be a confined area, but they're not. They're all over the place. And some people are looking for them. And then when you have a shootout, some innocent person died. The boy right in his own house. Well, in his barn, in my house, I guess. And gets shot right at the table doing his own work, Bahamians. You know how many people died in Baintown since then? Little children who were shot to death since that incident occurred. And the boy on his way to school gets shot to death. Any crap like that? In a crossfire. Some wicked males fighting in the street with guns. Where's our protection? And all those things have been happening over the years, and we have not yet done one single thing to protect these people. The girl who was molested and was strangled. We lost that child. We don't know what her potential could have been. Walking in a dark area, no light. Then we can just remember we need to put light there. Come on, Bahamians. We got to do better than this. Brother Cartwright, go ahead.
You know, Professor, I was telling a friend of mine, I said, when they first introduced the ankle bracelet, it was like a bond of shame. Because those who were first introduced with this ankle bracelet would not allow no one to see them wearing it. Today, wearing an ankle bracelet is like wearing a hand jewelry.
Yeah.
So there's no more shame behind it. So people tend to feel more as a badge of honor.
Yes.
It's like I was telling someone before that, he said to me, why don't we use the word corrupt? I said, because the way we do use the word corrupt when it comes to politicians, it's an easy way for them to say to you, show me anywhere around the world where what I'm doing, no one else is doing. And so when you look at it, I don't remember hearing no one have no laws on our books stating that corruption, if you get caught doing corruption, you get an X amount of years in prison or whatever. I've never heard it. So I always say to them, for me, when I talk about them, I say, man, these guys are constitutionally illiterate because they can't tell me nothing. When I look at now with our immigration problem, and like I said earlier, it's being facilitated by two people, two sets of groupings, our parliamentarians and also the Haitian embassy.
Yes.
Because in no way the Haitian embassy can tell me it has more power than its own parliament. And that parliament hasn't sat in about 3-4 years.
That's right.
So only them have the power to grant, because this grouping who is now temporarily in charge, they were not elected. They was appointed by the UN and a grouping. which has nothing to do with the Haitian Constitution. So
Mhm.
now you have a grouping is facilitating false documents. And you have a grouping that is saying we accept those documents to be truthful. So you now have a country basically being manipulated and taken advantage of
Yes.
by those who they put there to protect the sovereignty and those who are basically allowed to come in and protect their citizens.
Yes.
And they are now manipulating their citizens by saying, oh, don't worry about that. They can get you straight. Just get us into them. And we just turn around and say, well, oh, this the letter? Okay, this letter come from them. Oh, yeah, this is a good letter. No problem. I renounce, whatever. Bam, stamp that. Gave him a payment passport. Gave him a document. We are running the country like a banana republic. And we figured by now, 52 years later, we've had some serious legislation
in place.
And we would have had some serious parliamentarians who would basically abide by the law.
That
The
is
law
important.
is not effective if the people who implement it don't abide by it. Because if you don't abide by the same law that you put in place, how do you expect the citizens to follow you? Because you're supposed to be showing by an example.
Yes.
And so for all of these people, you know, I was telling a friend of mine yesterday, I said, I would like one day sit down with someone, whether it's a Haitian pastor or someone from that Haitian embassy, and say, listen, let's talk about your constitution, because apparently your people don't seem to know much about their constitution, and you trying to and put them on us. And let us show you how my constitution states that your people don't qualify to have.
don't.
And I said, you could then say to them in your language, hey, this is what they say, the Bahamas, this is what their law states. So they can, because I said, because what is happening, you are making it a problem because you're telling your people, oh, you're born Bahamas, you get documents. But if I was born with non-Bahamian, non-Haitian parents, I cannot be Haitian. So why are you basically switching this game around, and then you have parliamentarians lost? Because all they said, all they did, and then you ask them where in the Constitution states that these people qualify. They can't show you.
Yeah, fine. Yeah.
They can't tell you. And so it's sad that when you look at a country that's being manipulated by its own political leaders and parliament, and then you have outsiders in your country are facilitating the same lie that they're now doing. So now you're basically facing battling against an embassy and your own parliament.
That's correct.
And
That is
that's
quite
sad.
right. It really is a sad state of affairs, Bahamians, and this is why it's important you understand the role of government according to the Constitution. And what we see happening is not constitutionally sound. We have to change it, Bahamians. We can't leave it like that. And there's a way to do it, but we have to fight for it. It isn't going to be easy. It's going to be rough because people have some very slick, wicked, evil ways of doing things. This is Professor Sidney McCarter, Walter Thompson. Of course, tomorrow will be Open Line Friday. We will be here again, Brother Cartwright, and I think Brother Hyler will be here, and myself, and probably one or other person might be here as well. This is Professor Sidney McCarter, Walter Thompson. Bahamians, be safe. Please pray for the welfare of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, because we need God's divine intervention, and we need to follow the Constitution. This is Professor Sidney McCarter, Walter Thompson, on the Global Radio Network, 99.5 FM. Have a very pleasant afternoon.
Global 99.5 FM reminds our listeners that the views and opinions expressed on this show are those of the host and guests and not necessarily the opinions of the owners of Global Communications Network and the operators of this radio station.